First, let me thank Don Tran Haiyan so much for supporting me with 50K via Momo and Minlock3630 for their support as well. Your support is a huge motivation for us to continue bringing you captivating stories. Now, let's begin this fascinating tale. In Belias, a grand duchy in the northernmost region of the empire. Today I got married here to the master of this place, Grand Duke Barris Belias, a war hero revered by all, yet also a murderer feared by everyone. He buried his own father, who died in battle, with his own hands when he was just 9 years old. And for 2 years, he stayed by the side of his father's killer, pretending to be a war orphan, cleaning stables and tending to the horses. Finally, when Barris gained the man's trust, he exacted his revenge. He was criticized for his lack of honor, but he didn't care in the slightest. Barris has lived on the battlefield for roughly 16 years since then, leading the empire to victory in every war. But he has a problem. When the full moon rises, he indiscriminately slaughters everyone in his path, friend or foe. His murderous eyes. Barris has 2 names, war hero and murderer. And I, Selim Belias, today married that murderer. Barris, the man who received countless marriage proposals from princesses and noblewomen alike. Why did he choose Selim, an orphan with nothing but her name? Was it her breathtaking beauty? Love at first sight? No, that doesn't fit the murderer at all. Even if Barris were to disappear, he'd only want a woman who wouldn't cause trouble while he was away. Because once the wedding night is over, he'll confine his Grand Duchess to her room for the rest of her life. How'd I know all this? Isn't this a bit much? Of course, I ended up finishing it. After today, I won't be able to leave this room, not even a single step. Finishing the novel didn't help one bit. And unfortunately, when I regained consciousness, I was already in this room, waiting for Barris right after the wedding. I thought about running away, but a blizzard raged outside. I have no money, no sense of direction. And more than anything, this body, while beautiful, is incredibly frail. Because I had no money, I've only been able to eat fish cakes for a week, yet I feel stronger than this body should be. This is a big problem. I'm so sleepy. If I can't escape today, I'll be in prison for life. Just then, Barris opened the door and entered. Selim, drowsy, thought that sound as Barris entered the bedroom. The novel called him the Monster Duke. Is he truly that terrifying in person? Selim stared at him, thinking he's so tall. But he doesn't seem that scary. Barris spoke, "What are you doing there?" Selim replied, "Oh, I'm sorry, I dozed off. I'll move right away." Selim felt awkward. Now that this man had entered the bedroom, escape would be difficult. Barris said, "Go to sleep." Selim responded, "Huh?" But Barris remained impassive. "Go to sleep." Selim quickly pulled the covers over herself. "Yes, sir." Selim worried silently. Though he looks a bit frightening, isn't he handsome? Like a female bear. Goo, why did the original Selim faint at the sight of that face? I don't know. I'm so sleepy. She lay back down. Barris then sat on the bed beside Selim. His hand, for some reason he couldn't understand, clenched tight as he stared at her. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window, waking Selim. She reached out beside her, feeling no warmth. Did Barris sleep somewhere else? I feel a little lonely, but isn't it better this way? Why would he sleep separately? Suddenly, Selim froze. There you are. Looking at Barris, she thought, he's even more handsome in the light. Then she spoke, "I didn't see you anywhere, so I thought you were somewhere else. Good morning." Her voice trailed off awkwardly. Looking at the clothes she was wearing, she became flustered and quickly burrowed under the covers. "What do I do? I'm married now. I'm married now. I'm really married now." Barris watched her, thinking, yesterday I got married. Most people are afraid and don't dare look at me. Even my subordinates have a bad impression. There's no way I could have a normal marriage. Even so, she married a one-eyed man nicknamed the War Hero. A pitiful girl, but yesterday too. Just now, she wasn't afraid of me. Does it seem like she acknowledges me as a man? No way. That's just wishful thinking. Selim, now completely wrapped in the blanket, mumbled he seems to have gone outside. Probably to avoid me while I change, right? But she's more amicable than she appeared in the novel. Don't tell me he's doing this, and then suddenly he'll imprison me or something. Surely not, right? But why is this so confusing? I should have read ahead more. A moment later, Barris opened the door and entered. He walked straight inside without a word. Reaching the bed, he placed a blood bag on it. Seeing this, Selim couldn't help but worry. What is that? A demonic summoning. Is this not a bloody novel, but a horror novel? Who's the sacrifice? Could it be me? Oh my God. Barris extended his hand and said, "The floor is cold. Take my hand." Seelin took Barris's hand and said, "Thank you." He continued, "I'll help you get dressed." Seelin, embarrassed, replied, "Yes." Blushing, she looked at his hand and thought, so big and thick, such masculine hands. There's something bear-like about them. It's quite captivating. Barris suddenly froze. Wait a minute. Small, delicate, slender shoulders. If I touch her, it feels like she might break. What is going on here? Seelin turned around. Barris flinched. At that moment, someone approached. "I am Anna. I will assist the Grand Duchess." This was the headmaid. Seelin said, "Ah, thank you." Seelin then left Barris's hand and went to the headmaid. Not being held feels empty. If I locked that door and confined her, she wouldn't be able to escape my grasp like this. Suddenly, Seelin's stomach rumbled loudly. Barris approached and said, "Anna, prepare a meal for the Grand Duchess." Then, they both left the room. Seelin waved her hand, thinking, I can still smell blood. Shouldn't they at least air the room out? She walked towards the window to open it. A breathtaking view unfolded before her. Until yesterday, she mused, I had a peaceful night without any incident. Technically, Seelin had been confined after fainting before her wedding night. Barris had practically remained in her room since announcing his retirement to focus on agriculture and foreign affairs. He seemed unconcerned that a 20-year-old girl was so terrified she couldn't meet his gaze. He's a beast among beasts. It was like the original timeline, except she hadn't been immediately confined. Honestly, this situation felt hopeless. If I missed today, I might never get another chance to escape. But I'm not prepared, and fleeing to a snowy country would be suicide. Barris knocked on the door, but after a moment without a response, he burst in, only to find Seelin sitting by the open window. He looked at her, thinking, isn't she cold? She's from the southwest, isn't she? Or maybe she likes the cool air. Seelin noticed him then. The mere act of meeting his gaze sent a shiver down her spine. That face, that demeanor, it's completely my type. Barris spoke. I heard you barely ate anything at lunch. Aren't you hungry? He thought. She's not afraid. She's actually looking at me. Seelin imagined a lion bringing grass to a rabbit and struggled to suppress a smile. Barris was taken aback. Is she laughing? It seems Seelin enjoyed being asked if she was hungry. Allow me to explain the Grand Duke's behavior. The Grand Duke has been fighting on the battlefield since he was a child, with no opportunity to interact with women. He attended a few victory balls hosted by the royal family, but no lady would speak to him. If their eyes met, they would be frightened and quickly look away. So it's just fear. He's never actually spoken to a woman. How's that for a thorough explanation? Seelin spoke, breaking the silence. I want to go outside. Anxiety gnawed at her. I broke the silence and made a request. What if he thinks I'm being impertinent and confines me? There's no way he'll let me go outside. I can't be confined yet. I need to feel free just a little while longer. To her surprise, Barris extended his hand. If you want to go outside, he said, then get up. And together, they left the room. Seelin fretted silently. Do I have to wear this? It's so cumbersome. Though him personally adjusting my attire was nice. Barris suddenly turned to look at her. Panic flared. Is it because I'm walking too slowly? Is he going to tell me to hurry up? He then made a gesture she couldn't quite interpret. Is he going to grab me? That wouldn't be unusual. Her anxiety intensified. He's just bending his elbow. It just happened to catch my eye. I don't know. I'll just stand still. This is incredibly nerve-wracking. Barris recalled the words of his aide, Zato August. Proper etiquette dictates escorting a woman when her attire is uncomfortable. Therefore, unless he was an object of utter loathing, most women wouldn't refuse an escort. While they couldn't be called close, he and Seelin were now husband and wife. Unlike others, she didn't seem afraid of him. What was the meaning of this? She was brought here solely for the purpose of bearing children. He didn't understand why he was so preoccupied with her. Simply confining her should suffice. Starting tomorrow, he wouldn't allow her to set foot on grass-covered earth. Surprisingly, at that moment, Seelin tripped over a bump in the floor and stumbled. As expected, Barris caught her just in time. Startled, Seelin thought to herself, so firm, like an ancient tree. Meanwhile, Barris thought, her waist is the size of my hand. So light, she weighs no more than a rabbit. Before winter arrives, I must feed her well to put some weight on her. Keep her in her room. Add more rugs install a fireplace, add another layer of windows, and never let her outside. Barris Bellias was a man who had lived his entire life without knowing love. Throughout his existence, he had lived a solitary life, and even in death, he wouldn't recognize it as loneliness. In the original story, Seelin, imprisoned, had developed Stockholm Syndrome. Though delayed, it was clear that at some point, she had gradually begun to fall in love with Barris. But what about Barris? Unfortunately, for Barris, Seelin was merely the woman who would bear his children. But now I understand why Seelin opened her heart in the original story. He suddenly rushed to catch me with a panicked expression as I nearly fell. In that instant, I brushed against Barris's thigh and chest, the scent of wood from his neck. I thought he was firm, but not to this extent. Could he have worn cologne to meet me? Surely not. The original story painted him as a terrifying monster of a Grand Duke, but meeting him in person, he seems so sentimental, gentle, considerate, and completely my type. Honestly, if I keep having these close encounters with Barris, I might fall for him. It can't be because he's my ideal type, and I'm definitely not naive. At that moment, Barris extended his hand and said, "If walking tires you to the point of falling, isn't it better to walk slowly and steadily? Take my hand." Seelin, her face flushed, took his hand. Soon after, they stepped outside. Seelin, her face alight with interest, exclaimed, "It's truly a magnificent and splendid place." Barris, looking at her, thought to himself, "This scenery is still bleak. It will be a long time before it warms up. What's so beautiful about barren fields and half-bare branches?" That enraptured expression makes me want to keep looking. Seelin, her eyes sparkling, remarked, "It looks like something out of the Middle Ages." Back when I was in the theater troupe, I used to imagine myself working in Hollywood. I never thought I'd see scenery more realistic than that. But I can't go back to Korea anymore. If I have to live confined to a room like in the original story, what good is this scenery? If I can't escape, then I hope I can at least capture his heart. I've never acted in love scenes before, let alone actually been in love. Barris, looking in her eyes, thought, why is she suddenly putting on this resigned expression? Why, just a while ago, she was so excited to see the dilapidated castles and barren fields. Does she suddenly realize her husband is like a monster? Seelin, bewildered, didn't understand what was happening when Barris said, "It's best we go inside now." As she walked, she thought, "Damn it, this is the woman I brought here, so why can't I yell?" Seelin spoke up, "Excuse me, could I hold your arm?" Barris flinched. Right, if you're in the cold for a long time, your mood will eventually calm down. Plus, your stamina will quickly deplete, so she might collapse from exhaustion on the way. This is Barris's imagination. Everyone, haha. He thought to himself, at that time, I'll have to pick her up and hold her tight. She acts like she's about to faint, but she's a surprisingly good walker. Seelin went inside and said, "It's so warm. It seems Anna has lit the fireplace." She pondered, why isn't he saying anything? What should I say to lighten the mood a bit? Then, in a fluster, she said, "It's so peaceful. I really enjoyed myself today. The scenery was beautiful, too. Let's take walks together like this sometimes." Barris pondered again. She seems comfortable taking a walk. This woman isn't afraid of me. Wait a minute. I clearly intended to confine her to her room as soon as I brought her here. But how did things turn out like this? Right, it's all because of those eyes. When I look into those eyes, I often feel drawn to her. If this keeps up, right, don't forget the original purpose. This woman just needs to bear a child. If that's the case, even if it's today, well, today is probably already a wash, so it's better to start tomorrow. He said, "For now, get some sleep early tonight." The next morning, Seelin was nestled in her warm bed. By this time, the servants had arrived. Anna bowed her head and said, "Grand Duchess, you're awake." Seelin felt awkward. "You don't have to greet me like that." Receiving such formal treatment from someone older than her felt unfamiliar. Anna continued, "Will you treat everyone who greets you in this manner?" Seelin thought for a moment and then said, "I don't know if you knew this beforehand, but I grew up as a commoner and don't know proper etiquette. I still don't know how to react in this situation. I would appreciate your guidance." Anna looked at her, thinking, it's clear she's telling the truth. She acts like she doesn't know anything, but her tone and pronunciation aren't bad. At this rate, she'll quickly adapt to this place. Anna said, "Please have breakfast first, Your Grace." After breakfast, Seelin lay back down on the bed, with a full stomach and my body warm. What should I do now? Come to think of it, no one told me not to leave my room, did they? Technically, it was the other Seelin who was confined, not me. I need to get some fresh air and sunshine. If I just stay in this room, I'll get bored. As soon as she opened the door, Seelin was startled to find Anna standing right there. Anna spoke up. "I am Anna. Where are you going?" Lady Seelan. Seelan feigned ignorance. Oh, I was just thinking of going outside. Being cooped up inside all the time makes me feel so confined. She thought to herself, I wonder if she was waiting right outside the door. About lunch? Anna inquired, how would you like to have your meal? Seelan hesitated. Is it difficult to go outside? Anna looked at her, thinking, so the lady did wish to go outside. She could return with a tray, but instead of going all the way outside, Anna offered a suggestion. There's a table on the veranda. Having your meal there might give you the feeling of a picnic. Seelan's eyes lit up. Really? I'll go right away. Anna replied, I'll have everything prepared. Not long after, the meal was ready. Seelan, brimming with excitement, exclaimed, how lovely. But which utensil should I use first? Should I bring some from outside? If I do it wrong, Anna will criticize me. Anna pondered, I still haven't decided how much to teach the Grand Duchess. Just as the Lord instructed, bring a woman who can be treated well, one who can simply bear an heir. If she intends to live inwardly, focused solely on producing an heir, there's no need to teach her anything. But judging by yesterday and today, that doesn't seem to be the case. This animal blood, even the Lord knows the difference between human and animal blood. So, this animal blood is for the servants outside to see. It's a measure to prevent rumors, since there wasn't a wedding night. The Lord took such subtle actions. That Grand Duke. Could it be that the Lord has suddenly gone mad? But it's clear that the Grand Duchess has had some influence on him. In any case, perhaps the Grand Duchess will be a seed of hope for the North. Who knows? She might even be able to quell the Lord's rage. Suddenly, Seelan spoke. Anna, I'm planning to go outside today. Is there anything I need to know? Anna was momentarily taken aback. Leave the castle. I didn't think she intended to go for a stroll. I absolutely can't let her go alone. I will accompany you, my lady, Anna replied. The scene shifts to Barris's perspective. My mind seems to have stopped working. I have to confine her, but I also need to come up with an excuse. Of course, I intended to confine her without any reason, but that's too much. It's like treating her like a commodity. I brought her here for that purpose. I know I'm being hypocritical, but I still need a reason. I don't want to treat her that way. What is this, anyway? Wait, what are they doing? Don't tell me they're planning to run away. What? Could they be planning to leave the castle? Even with Anna there? What if she creates a diversion and loses Anna in a crowd? I have to go after them immediately. Seelan, meanwhile, was already outside, strolling about. This is quite a solid world. I don't know much about historical accuracy, but the marketplace seems bustling and full of life. It feels like I'm traveling. I never did this back in Korea. Observing things. It seems the original story isn't much help. Unlike the description in the original, Barris is rather amicable. Yesterday, too, Seelan blushed at the thought. Having never been in love, she wasn't quite sure, but at this rate, were she and Barris in the dating phase. The terrifying image of Barris flashed through her mind, and she nearly fainted. Right? Stop with the wishful thinking. I can stroll around without being locked up, but his true nature hasn't changed. Still, I don't get along with Barris. He's my ideal type, after all. Seelan, noticing Anna standing at a distance, said, Why are you standing over there? Come sit with me. Anna hesitated, then replied, Oh yes, thank you. At that moment, Anna noticed someone watching them nearby. Earlier, Barris had been walking, lost in thought. Where is she now? Surely she hasn't left the city gates already. Zat, catching sight of him, asked, Your lordship, where are you going in such a hurry? Ignoring Zat, Barris fumed inwardly. It seems she's trying to escape from me like this. I want to grab her right now and throw her back in her bedroom. From Seelan's perspective, she was thoroughly enjoying herself. The weather is lovely, Barris thought. Right? Seelan is an ordinary person with underdeveloped senses. There's no way she can escape Anna's watchful eye, who has become an imperial royal knight. Why am I being so hasty, anyway? At this distance, if anything happens, I can get there immediately, so it'll be fine. This is better. If there's any sign of escape, I'll grab her and tie her up. It's just the right time for a justifiable reason. This is a good opportunity. Or maybe there's something I can use against her. But if I just sit here doing nothing, won't I be bored? If she's just going to sit around, why did she even come out here? Is she confirming her escape route in advance? Should I just go back? Today is definitely outside the predicted data. That must have taken care of everything, right? Suddenly, someone noticed Barris and approached, bowing deeply, their hands trembling visibly. Barris thought to himself, I can clearly see what he's thinking. The murderer, said to be more cruel than a demon, is their lord. Even if they feel safe, they'll still be terrified when they see him right in front of them. Whatever the case, the important thing now is not to lose sight of Seelan. That's all. A while later, Seelin returned from her stroll. Ah, that was refreshing. I've had my walk and bath. Now all I need is dinner, and it'll be perfect. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Come in. She thought, I need a robe. Before she could retrieve one, Barris entered. Seelin was embarrassed, and Barris froze for 5 seconds before the door slammed shut. No, I thought she'd be bathing, eating, and then resting. Even if she wasn't, she didn't like me anyway, but now she probably hates me even more. Shameless. Anna, approaching, looked at him in bewilderment. Your lordship, what's wrong? Inside, Seelin clutched her head. I'm going crazy. I thought it was Anna. Even though it wasn't intentional, I was too careless. What if I get locked up now? Wah, please give me another chance. At that moment, Barris approached. He draped a robe over Seelin. You'll catch a chill. Seelin blushed, saying, thank you for being so kind to me. Barris was stunned. Kind? Me? Kind? Well, if she sees me in a good light, that's fine too. Barris cleared his throat. Nothing. I'll be just outside. Call me when you're dressed. Let's have dinner together. It's not the first time we've dined together, is it? I don't think this scene was even in the original. Seelin mused to herself. Is he waiting for me to make a mistake? She wondered, a flicker of anxiety in her eyes. Barris's face remained impassive, a mask she couldn't quite decipher. Then Seelin smiled, a radiant, genuine smile that made Barris's heart leap in his chest. Who is this woman? He thought, bewildered. No one else could do this. How can she touch me so casually, as if it were the most natural thing in the world? She meets my gaze, then looks away, unfazed. It's as if I'm the only one who finds this strange, this regrettable. Seelin accepted a proffered box. What's this? May I open it? Barris's voice was carefully neutral. A gift. Open it. Seelin lifted the lid, her eyes widening in surprise. A glittering necklace lay nestled within. Her eyes shone like beacons. I can have this. Of course, Barris replied. Seelin was astonished. He'd given her a gift without a second thought. This is the first gift I've ever received from a man, she realized. I don't know about everything else, but Barris is trying to be kind to me. Things are definitely different from the original story. Maybe I really can have a good life with him. There's hope. Barris smiled, a thin, tight smile. Good. She doesn't suspect a thing. He thought of the necklace, a specially prepared item. I've already notified the jewelers and pawnbrokers. If anyone tries to sell it, don't let on. Just issue a promissory note for 1,000 gold pieces. If the shopkeeper comes directly to the castle with the necklace, reward them handsomely. And if I catch Seelin trying to sell it and run, his thoughts trailed off, a dark shadow crossing his face. If she tries to escape once, the rest will be easier. I can treat her like an object without the hesitation I felt at first. I just need to catch her. Then, from that day forward, she'll cry every single day. Oblivious to his machinations, Seelin's thoughts were still filled with the necklace. The first gift he's given me. The next day dawned. Barris watched from a distance, a calculating glint in his eyes. Everything's going according to plan. The Grand Duchess probably isn't satisfied with just a taste of luxury. I made a promise to Anna, after all. Just have to wait for the right moment. Just wait. Zat, observing Barris from the side, thought to himself, at 19, the Lord infiltrated the enemy camp disguised as a war orphan. After 2 years, ravaged and barely alive, he returned with the enemy commander's head. After recovering, he returned to the battlefield at 13. Since then, I've never seen the Lord defeated. But now, it seems spring has finally come for him. I approve. The scene shifted to Seelin, strolling through the marketplace. Barris, still shadowed and unseen, watched her every move. What is she doing? All she's bought so far are 2 candied apples, some roasted chicken, and a crude-looking leather coin purse. None of that will help her escape. The marketplace buzzed with whispers as people recognized Barris lurking in the shadows. He paid them no mind. When will she show her true colors? Now, no, that's not it. What could she possibly do with that small bag? She needed to buy something substantial, something she could carry over her shoulder. What about this time? Right low, sturdy heels are essential for running, aren't they? What kind of woman? What is she even out here buying? And if so, why would she come out here right after hearing that? Barris was taken aback, watching Seelin's face bloom into a smile. How could she smile so brightly? I haven't taken my eyes off her for a second. I have absolutely no idea what she's smiling about. What could possibly be amusing her? I simply can't fathom it. Seelin, meanwhile, was practically skipping with delight. This grilled chicken skewer is divine. I still have plenty of money left, and the weather is lovely, though it is a bit chilly. Last night felt so warm. When I held his hand, I felt like even putting all my weight against it wouldn't budge its firmness. The thought made her smile again. Barris's loneliness in this world was a foregone conclusion. But I'm lonely too. When I was Yumi, I had no guardian. There's a reason we met and became husband and wife, isn't there? It seems like we can live together harmoniously. No, I want to live together harmoniously. That evening, Barris walked a small box in his hand, lost in thought. If she goes to bathe again like yesterday, it'll be a bit awkward. I need to take things slowly tonight. Even if something like yesterday happens again, I wouldn't mind, but suddenly, Barris spotted her. He immediately assumed Seelin was trying to escape. As usual, he followed her. Watching her actions, he thought, what is this? Is she trying to impress someone? Whose room is that, anyway? Damn it, that's my room. Barris faltered. No, I can't just enter her room without her permission, no matter what. He then leaped, grabbing a tree branch and swinging onto the balcony of his room. He set the box down and went to the door, quickly opening it. Come in, he said. Yes, Seelin replied, entering the room. They stood a significant distance apart. Seelin gistede forbares to sit beside her. He hesitated for a moment, then sat down. He shuffled closer, inch by agonizing inch. Seelin giggled. She pulled out an apple. It looked so delicious. I bought it for us to share. She took a bite. Watching her, Barris also took a bite. Seelin's laughter made him freeze. What? Laughing? Is my face that strange when I eat an apple? Seelin chuckled. I'm sorry if my laughter offended you. I didn't mean to. Look, she held up the apple, comparing their bites. It's amazing how much you can take in one bite. I can't believe how different our bites are. Barris blushed, thinking, but everything about her is small. Even her bite, her height, her face, her hands. So different. He abruptly stood. I have a gift for you. He presented the gift. Seelin's eyes lit up. Can I try it on now? But the dress is thick and heavy. It looks difficult for her to change. Barris stepped forward. Allow me. Looking at her ankles, Barris thought, they're so small. Meanwhile, Seelin was thinking his hands are so big. Seelin smiled brightly. Thank you. I really like them. Barris, watching her, thought, what is it about this woman? Even a simple smile feels intoxicating. Get a grip, Barris. Now that she has comfortable shoes, she'll definitely run away. But to flee the frozen north without any familiarity, does that mean she hates me that much? Smiling like that, and then running away. Seelin spoke, shall we eat? Barris's face softened. Yes, he replied. Barris sat down, and Seelin deliberately moved closer to him. What is this? What is she doing? Why does she keep looking at me and smiling? Why? Is she planning to stay the night? Barris said, you should return now. After she left, Barris was left in a daze. Barris, what are you doing? If she runs, I'll treat her as I planned. If she actually runs, I don't think I'll be able to control my anger. Where did I leave off? I don't even know what I want to do with her anymore. The scene shifted to Seelin, who had returned to her room. He really is the monstrous Grand Duke, isn't he? Seelin's impression was certainly accurate. Barris perfectly matched Moda from the novel. But why? It's been 3 nights, and the principals still haven't begun. At first, it was good. It seemed like the delay in confinement was out of consideration for me. But within a day or two, the more time passed, the more uneasy I felt. This isn't consideration anymore. Something's wrong. Seelin's personality wasn't detailed in the novel. Because it's a novel. Was the Seelin and the principals as lovely as the female lead in a romance? And not as timid as me. Unable to bear not being confined. An irresistible attraction. I am doomed. I can't become the Seelin from the principals. Wasn't the atmosphere today exactly like that? It was clearly right before a kiss. But he told me to go home. I really wanted to do well. Does he really not feel anything? Am I the only one who wants a hug, or kiss, or even hold hands? I don't know anymore. I was happy to receive a gift, but I heard that in Korea, if lovers gift shoes, the recipient will run away. I wonder if it's a gift with that meaning here. It really doesn't suit me. He doesn't mean for me to just leave, does he? The next day, Zat Rustin flüstert. Lord, last night I discovered a young man. Barris asked, what about him? Zat replied, he's from a town called Kimlin in the southwest. I hear he came all this way searching for his missing fiancée, Seelin. Although they couldn't officially hold a wedding ceremony, they promised to marry. Zat thought to himself, I thought spring had finally come for the Lord, but now. Varys spoke, Zat, the ground is softening these days, isn't it? Zat, surprised, thought, is he thinking about burial already? Zat replied, yes. After all, spring has already begun a month ago. Varys sighed, just as I predicted. If she's beautiful in my eyes, she'll be beautiful in others too. It's my fault for realizing it late. Is being beautiful a sin? So, where is he now? Zat answered, he's in the basement, sir. Varys smiled, blinded by love. He came all the way here. I must see his face to know how much courage he possesses. Elsewhere, a blue-haired man said, have you heard? Lady Seelan is getting married soon. The red-haired man gasped in astonishment. What? Who is she marrying? The blue-haired man replied, who indeed? I heard it's a wealthy lord from the far north. Honestly, she's not someone who would be stuck in the countryside like this. She has such a beautiful face. The red-haired man stammered, well, yes, but, wearing expensive clothes, admiring rare flowers, and elegantly enjoying tea suits her more than anyone else. But is that enough for her? Is she happy now, coming from a wealthy family, but knowing nothing? I want to see her again. Even though I don't know the exact location, once I see her, I won't be able to forget. I'm sure I'll find her right away. I'm sure. Just then, someone approached and said, come with us. He's currently under arrest. The red-haired man jumped up and shouted, who are you? What do you want? Standing before the red-haired man was none other than Varys. He commanded, let's begin. The red-haired man struggled. What is this? No, let me go. Varys' subordinates then forced some kind of drug into the red-haired man's mouth. Varys spoke, the town of Kimlin in the southwest. Did you and the girl named Seelan confess your feelings for each other? His voice hoarse, he said, Seelan, beautiful Seelan. I want to live for her. I'm confident I'll work hard for the rest of my life for our children. Seelan and I will love each other forever. We'll be together forever. Varys then angrily stormed off. Zat, watching go, thought to himself, oh dear, I thought it was a spring breeze, but it turned out to be a cold north wind. Abelin is a temporary drug that makes the user lose their mind and speak the truth. If he wasn't someone with a strong mind to resist the drug, then what he said is true. There are no enemy prisoners here to appease the Lord's bloodlust. However, I have no choice but to keep a close watch to prevent any sudden outbursts of rage. I can do it, Zat. Varys stopped and said, Zat, release him, and arrange an exit through the patio next to the inner corridor. The scene shifted to Seelan's side. Look, butterflies. It seems they all want to get over the wall. Anna said, yes, indeed. As you can see, there are no flowers here, so they instinctively try to get over the wall. Seelan smiled, I see. She thought to herself, how magical. And it feels just like me. From birth until adulthood, nothing has gone my way. I have to survive in a new environment. Butterflies, don't give up. You can do it. You'll eventually reach fulfillment. At that moment, Seelan looked over and saw Varys. Varys flinched, startled. Had he imagined it? She was a strange woman. Just looking at the nape of her neck made him feel as if time had flown by. It was clearly the same in the eyes of others. As long as she didn't fall into the hands of some scoundrel and spend her time with the one she loved. If she had grown up in a noble family, she would likely be married with children by now. How could she have whispered words of love with that very face to another man? A surge of anger coursed through Varys. Why this rage? He felt the urge to destroy everything in sight at any moment. How could he kill that man right before her eyes? How brutally would he have to do it to ensure she never looked back at the red-haired man again? If she held even the slightest memory of him, Varys would grind his bones to dust and feed them to the wild beasts. Seelan smiled, asking, does this suit me? Varys' fury instantly deflated. Your Grace, she added with a soft laugh. These are the shoes you bought me, Seelan continued. Are they comfortable? Varys asked. Yes, Seelan replied with a smile. They're much more comfortable to walk in, and they're very pretty too. Varys thought to himself, even if I knew nothing of time, honestly, the dress and shoes don't match. But mere comfort isn't enough. Even if she ran at full speed, she wouldn't be able to escape this place. So, shall we go out today? Seelan asked. Varys froze. Where would you like to go? He asked. Seelan considered for a moment. Anywhere, she replied. I'd be happy to go anywhere, as long as we're together. Varys hesitated, then said, I was planning to close the city gates today. Seelan's eyes widened in surprise. Oh, she stammered. Varys continued, please stay within the city walls. There's something I need to attend to, so I must close the gates temporarily. It won't be more than a week at most. How about we go riding together after that? Seelan beamed. Wonderful. She thought to herself, I thought he was going to confine me again. Varys smiled. Perhaps today is the day Seelan will resent me for the rest of her life. Even so, it doesn't matter. I have no intention of sharing her with anyone else. I'd rather she feel empty, sad, and bored because of me. Not even a sliver of space in her heart should be directed towards another, especially not while that man still lives. If she witnesses his death with her own eyes, she'll at least need some fresh air afterwards. She seems to enjoy stargazing. The La Bella Forest, then. The night sky, there is famously beautiful and clear. She's sure to love it. Back in the present, the red-haired man appeared from seemingly nowhere. Seeing him, Seelan thought, what the? Has he been digging in the dirt? Only Barris, Zat, Anna, and I are allowed in here. Is he a servant? It doesn't matter. Interrupting Barris, Seelan said, but I don't know how to ride a horse. Barris looked surprised. You don't know how to ride? Seelan worried, her face paling. Is it strange that I can't ride? She asked anxiously. Does every woman here know how to ride? She wondered. Why is he asking me that? I've never even sat on a horse before. The red-haired man finally reached them. Seelan, he said, I came all this way to see you, and you won't even look at me. Seelan found this person utterly bewildering. What in the world? He's not a servant, is he? Has he ever appeared in the original story? I don't recall reading about him. I wonder if he shows up later on. Panic seized Seelan, and she darted behind Barris. The red hair of the newcomer struck her like a bolt of lightning. Now that you're a married woman, even if you don't run into my arms, couldn't you at least say something? Barris thought, simmering. The red-haired man barked, Seelan. Startled, Seelan asked, who are you? Barris answered, I hear he's the man you promised your future to back in your hometown. Seelan, perplexed, replied, promised what to him? A smug smile played on Barris's lips. She suddenly ran behind me. I wonder if she intends to stab me in the back for a lover. Honestly, I wouldn't mind being stabbed, he mused. She avoided that man and hid behind me. That's practically the same as choosing me. It seems she doesn't harbor any special feelings for him. Barris snapped his fingers. Take him away. Immediately, a group of soldiers appeared and dragged the red-haired man off. Seelan collapsed to the floor. Something felt terribly wrong. If Barris knew about my past, if he put me and that man together and questioned us, things would never have played out like this. Could the city's closure have been a test for me? If that's truly the case, Barris knelt beside her, his brow furrowed with concern. What's wrong all of a sudden? Seelan's voice trembled. What was that about? Were you going to hand me over to him? I would never, Barris insisted. Seelan cut him off. Liar. Barris clenched his fist. Yes, that was a lie. I was planning to kill him right in front of her. He forced a smile. Actually, he just wanted to see your face. Just once. But Seelan shrank back, fear etched on her face. Would you do this with anyone who wanted to see my face? Wouldn't it be simpler to just sketch a large portrait and paste it on the city gates? Barris hesitated, because he said he was your lover. Seelan pressed him. You believed him, and let me meet him up close. A man whose name I don't even know. Barris bit his lip. I absolutely cannot tell her the truth. I drugged him, he stammered. Apparently, if you drink it, you absolutely cannot lie. So, generally speaking, what he said was trustworthy. Seelan thought miserably. Anything is possible in this fantasy world. If that man truly was Seelan's lover, does that mean it's okay for me to meet my former lover too? Is he that indifferent to me? Barris fretted. Why won't she stop crying? If she keeps this up, she'll exhaust herself. A moment later, my lord, you've had too much to drink. Barris scowled. Shut up. Zet watched him drain his cup. Hiff. You, the most exceptional of the exceptional, don't even realize how smitten you are. These past few days, he's been agonizing over the sound of the ladies weeping. What kind of man lets the woman he loves meet her former lover? At least he isn't making a scene, though he's hardly sitting still either. How can his thoughts be so consumed by negativity and violence? He's just displaying his arrogant possessiveness. Zat approached Barris and said, My lord, I hear her grace hasn't been eating. Barris waved a dismissive hand. Zat continued, What do you think about bringing some soup to her chambers? Barris bristled. Do you take me for a servant? A moment later, he muttered to himself, What does that even mean, brother? All right then. He started walking. I heard she hasn't eaten anything. How does she even have the energy to cry for days on end? If she's crying like that after seeing her former lover, it's obvious who she's crying for. I wish the curses he threw at her were directed at me instead. Rather than crying over him, I wish she'd cry out of disappointment in me. He reached Seelan's door and said softly, Please, eat something. Seeing him, Seelan's expression shifted between annoyance and confusion. Why are you here? Barris stepped closer. Because you haven't left your room. Seelan, turn away. What does it matter? The city gates are closed anyway. Barris paused, thinking, even if she wasn't afraid or uncomfortable with me, she was holding back. Now that restraint is gone. She's saying whatever she wants. A small smile played on his lips. How endearing. Seelan frowned. What? Just say it. Why are you acting like this? If you're gonna be like this, why give me gifts? Why give me shoes? Why ask me to hold your hand? Why embrace me when I fell? It's maddening. Going that far wasn't that a green light. Barris cleared his throat. I'll reopen the city gates. Let's keep our promise to ride together. Seelan asked, when will you go out? The air suddenly thickened with awkwardness. Barris replied, now. Seelan's mind reeled. Now. A moment later, her thoughts continued to race. No, is this real? I cried like that, and he couldn't even ask once if I was alright. I wasn't expecting much. Just wiping away my tears would have been enough. How can he be so indifferent? Barris glanced at her. To him, Seelan, but that outfit suits you well. He was oblivious to her anger. Even Zat didn't know what to make of the atmosphere. He buried his face in his hands. Camelin is a small town, so there aren't any proper roads for carriages. Seelan said she didn't know how to ride, but it can't be helped. What could possibly be in that small town? Perhaps they'll go hunting while riding. As long as they have children, that's all that matters. I didn't even investigate their past. I just brought her back without knowing anything about her past. I thought I did a good job. If I had known, I would never have brought Seelan there. Barris led a horse over to Seelan. Ride the white one, he said. Seelan worried silently. With so much luggage already strapped to her back, would this really work? I think I'd be too much weight for the horse, she ventured. Barris burst out laughing. Don't worry, it could easily carry 5 women like you. From Barris's perspective, a woman seemed to weigh less than a sugar cookie. What could he say? Seelan's face darkened. This was bad. The horse was bigger than she'd thought. I don't think I can ride it, she thought. Could I actually die from falling off a horse? She'd been angry earlier, so admitting this now bruised her pride, but she couldn't just pretend. I can't ride a horse, she confessed. Barris chuckled. You're joking. Seelan replied. No, I really can't. Barris asked. Then how about you learn to ride first, and we go out another day? Or, he continued, you could ride with me. Seelan's mind reeled. Riding together meant practically embracing. How could that not lead to misunderstandings? He kept giving her these green lights, yet pretended ignorance at crucial moments. This push and pull, she'd only heard of it before. Wasn't this going too far? Seelan hesitated. Well, everything's ready. We have to go, right? What should I do? A moment later, Seelan managed to clamber onto the horse. Barris helped, his hands at her waist, giving her a boost. Hold the reins tight and put your feet in the stirrups, he instructed. Okay, Seelan replied. Then Barris mounted behind her. I'll do the riding. After much back and forth, they were finally on their way. As they rode, Seelan thought, I feel strangely safe and secure. Barris is the strongest male lead in this world. Is it because I'm the female lead? She'd been so furious just moments ago, but now, nothing else mattered. Meanwhile, Barris was starting to panic. Oh no, I didn't think this through. She's so close. Her scent is so sweet, and her back is so soft and cute. Can a back even be cute? The real problem is that both Seelan and I are wearing riding breeches, and the fabric is so thin. Pressed together like this, that place has a mind of its own, haha. The scene shifted to another location. Anna approached Zat. Are you taking the carriage? She asked. Yes, Zat replied. The Lord asked me to prepare a carriage to La Bella. Anna pondered this. When? Tonight, Zat answered. Anna's eyes narrowed. You're really planning on going tonight without considering anything else? Zat was taken aback. What do you mean? Anna explained. He's leaving early tomorrow morning, so you should arrive at dawn. It's better for the Lord that way. Zat was caught in a dilemma. The Lord's orders versus his former superior's advice. He was told to obey. I'm sorry, Lord, but this really is better, right? The scene cut back to Seelan. It's cold, she said. Come closer, Barris replied. I specifically said to pick you up tonight, but it seems something came up. Seelan smiled. It's all right. It's fine. Hello, this is Seelan. I'll explain what happened to me today. I couldn't ride a horse, so I ended up arriving at La Bella in Barris's arms. We arrived at a beautiful wooden house in the forest. And Barris carried me down, and now we're here. Barris asked, how about some wine? It'll warm you up a bit. Seelan smiled again. I'd love some. She thought to herself, back in Korea, I had quite a tolerance. I could easily handle 3 bottles of soju by myself. This should be fine, right? Barris retrieved a bottle and asked, "Have you ever had this before?" Seelan replied, "Wine is a bit bitter, so I don't really like it." Barris asked seriously, "If you don't like wine, how about whiskey?" Seelan waved her hand dismissively. "Sure, I'll try whiskey. It's my first time." Watching her drink, Barris thought, Seelan, she used to drink wine back home. She especially liked the Rapon wine I just brought out. It has the lowest alcohol content of all the wines. It's supposed to be the easiest to drink. Barris asked another glass. Seelan replied, "Yes, please. It's delicious." Barris continued, "There are a lot of small animals around here." Seelan asked, "Squirrels or hedgehogs?" Barris chuckled, "Like rabbits or foxes. I would have brought a bow and arrow for hunting if I'd known." "Do you like hunting?" Barris suddenly looked at Seelan. Seelan looked back at Barris. Neither of them spoke. As Seelan finished her third glass, she felt a nervous flutter. "He's going to kiss me, isn't he?" That serious look in this atmosphere. It's so different from before. But I don't want my first kiss to be after drinking. There's no other way. Seelan abruptly stood up and said, "Hunting? I've never." "No." With those words, she collapsed. Barris scooped her up into his arms. It seems she can't hold her liquor. Well, it wasn't a mistake anyway. Before the wedding ceremony, on the wedding night, and for a week after. I don't know who, how, or why, but Seelan has definitely changed. It must be witchcraft. Asterisk, it's not a coincidence that I felt bewitched several times. Asterisk, he carried her inside the house. If this woman is a witch, then where is the real Seelan? Will I ever be able to find her? Seelan's voice trembled. "I'm so cold." Barris was taken aback. Seelan is clearly wearing a vest, and I even wrapped her in my cloak. How could she be feeling this way? This woman is definitely a witch. I don't know what she's done to me. Such a cunning woman. The next morning, Seelan was still nestled in Barris's arms, while he remained as still as a mountain. What if this woman is a witch? The bewitching beauty who swallowed the entire empire. If someone like me is swallowed up, there will be serious consequences. I have to find a real Seelan, no matter what. Finally, Zat arrived. A moment later, Seelan began to stir. She panicked. "I slept in too late. Where's Barris? Don't tell me he left me here." Seelan stepped outside and heard Barris's voice. "Starting from before and after our wedding, search for any witches or sorcerers in the north." Zat asked, puzzled, "Why so suddenly, my lord?" Barris replied, "It seems Seelan was switched on our wedding day. We must find a real Seelan." Hearing this, Seelan's face paled. "At spoke, impossible." There's no sign of any intrusion into the city. Barris pondered for a moment, then said, "It's highly likely that only her soul was switched, not her body. If we can find the witch or sorcerer who was in the north at that time, we might be able to find a real Seelan." At that moment, Zat noticed Seelan. "Madam, have you already come out?" Seelan coughed lightly and stepped forward. Barris promptly introduced them. "Dish is Fishkount Shut Howdesh Augustish." You'll be seeing him often, so remember his face. Zat placed a hand on his chest. "We met for the first time yesterday at the stables, correct? I hope you will look after me." Seelan replied, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I hope I can count on your help in the future." Zat turned to Barris and nodded. Zat and Seelan had actually met in their hometown. That was the one who had brought Seelan here in the first place. Before the wedding, the two had also spoken a few times within the city walls. Seelan would treat Zat as if they were meeting for the first time. There was no need for further consideration. The three of them boarded the carriage and departed. Inside, Seelan worried to herself. "No matter how I think about it, I seem to be doomed." Judging by Zat's reaction, it seems Seelan really did know him before. I wonder how severe the crime of impersonating the Grand Duchess is. Could I be executed? Honestly, if a woman suddenly changes her identity, even if it's misunderstood as infiltration by a spy with some grand conspiracy, there's nothing I can say to refute it. Will I be brutally tortured into confessing the truth? Or beheaded for committing a serious crime? And intentionally bringing my former lover before me? 2. Wasn't he already suspicious of me before? Is a peaceful married life, sharing the small things in everyday life, really that difficult? No, no, no. Even if I'm trapped in a tiger's den, as long as I stay calm, I can struggle and survive. I just need to think about how to behave. Meanwhile, Barris thought to himself, I thought all witches were bold, but apparently not. In any case, she's certainly an amusing woman. Unbeknownst to them, an unusually watchful raven was following their carriage. The raven flew to another man. "So, it's like that," the man murmured. A mysterious figure behind him asked, "How did it go?" The platinum hair man replied, "So-so." The cloaked figure continued, "I hope she plays her role properly." The platinum hair man asked, "Can't we do anything now?" The cloaked figure snapped, "Do you think I'd be saying this if there was something we could do?" At that moment, another person approached and said, Rowan, it will be frustrating, but be patient for a little while longer. Vincent and I will take care of it ourselves. And it's still cold, Rowan. Back with Barris, he was still lost in thought. First, I have to pretend I don't know anything. It would be terrible if she realized and ran away. There's no information about the soul that was switched. If the soul escapes immediately and returns to its original body, there will be no way to find it. The plan to seduce her into running away and then imprisoning her should be discarded. I don't know why she's approaching me. Until I find a way to bind the souls together, she shouldn't even think about escaping. The only way is proper cooperation to achieve what I want. Celine was inherently beautiful, but if the soul looking at me isn't hers, then it won't do. I have to think of something. Is there no other way? An idea suddenly struck Celine. As far as Barris is concerned, his wife's soul hasn't changed at all. Wouldn't it be enough to simply say there's no need to find the real Celine? If so, perhaps this can all be peacefully resolved. Whether it's online novels or dramas, there's always a useful solution that's frequently used: amnesia. As an actress, this is a piece of cake for me. I don't know when I became a suspect. I'll just confidently say I don't remember anything about the wedding night. It'll definitely go according to plan. Celine suddenly realized something and asked, isn't the direction to the city a little different? Barris replied, that's because the routes for horses and carriages are different. Even if it's a bit roundabout, it won't take much longer. Celine asked, are you hungry? Barris crossed his arms in silence, not answering. Celine continued, I don't think we had breakfast, did we? I was wondering if you were hungry. Barris replied, we need to go a little further to reach the central district. At least eat this. Celine accepted it and said with a smile, not me, but you. Seeing her smile, Barris froze for 5 seconds. He averted his gaze from Celine and said, I'm fine. A while later, they arrived at the central city. Celine, her eyes sparkling, thought to herself, it feels completely different from the plaza, like a place where fairies live. Barris, looking at her, thought, it's like she's seeing a populated city for the first time. If she were a witch living alone in some valley, it would all make sense. Celine, noticing his gaze, frowned. Why are you staring at me like that? It feels like you're treating me like an imposter. I need to find something to talk about. Celine spoke up. My bottom hurts from being in the carriage for so long. Wouldn't the horse's bottom hurt too from running like this? Inwardly, Celine cringed. What am I even saying? Don't make the atmosphere so weird. A moment later, Zat said, we've arrived at the location you mentioned, sir. Celine breathed a sigh of relief and was a little surprised to see Barris get down. Where is he going? She wondered. Don't tell me Barris is getting off here to take care of some business, and I'll be returning to the city alone. Barris extended his hand and said, get off the carriage. Seeing him like this, Celine was momentarily stunned, then took his hand and stepped down from the carriage. Barris said, we'll be hungry if we go straight to the city, so let's stop by a restaurant. Celine was disappointed. Why did he let go of my hand? She frowned, then reached out and took hold of 2 of his fingers. Barris's face flushed red, while Celine pondered, what am I doing? This is like a date. He, on the other hand, thought, this is like being with my lover. This couple is hilarious. A while later, the table was laden with food, soup as an appetizer, bread, and a delicious main course. But that gaze is putting so much pressure on me. He was by my side all night in the wooden house, and now I'm being treated to such a delicious meal. Now that we've grown a little closer, it feels awful to deceive him. But I have to survive, no matter the cost. I need to look after myself in this future of calamity and amnesia. I'm Celine, the one who lost her memories. I've lost my memories. All right. Celine spoke up. I have a question. What is our relationship? Seeing Barris's stunned expression, Celine coughed and continued. You come to my room in the evenings and give me gifts. And our sleeping arrangements. I've been thinking about it, and we seem like a married couple. Don't you think so? Barris's hand trembled as he took a sip of water. Celine pressed on, but why aren't we like a married couple? Barris sputtered, spraying water from his mouth. Haha, he choked out. Perhaps I need to explain what that entails. Celine flustered. I apologize if I startled you. It's just, I feel like I have amnesia. Barris paused, a thought flickering behind his eyes. If she's discovered to be a witch, I won't achieve my goal. I was going to offer excuses, but whatever they are, they need to be consistent. I'll give her whatever she wants. Aloud, he said, first of all, we are a married couple. Do you remember from when? Celine stammered. That is, I don't know the exact date, but it was evening. You drew the curtains and told me to go to sleep. And the next day, you went out for a while and came back. You'd bled on the sheets. Our wedding night passed by so quickly like that. Barris replied, it seems you don't remember anything before that. am I right? That was the day we had our wedding ceremony, and I was wondering why we weren't intimate. Zillian responded, yes. Barris continued, we had an arranged marriage. He thought to himself, what kind of performance will she give in this story? He went on, because we were worried about not being comfortable with each other yet, we decided to consummate the marriage 10 days after the ceremony. Of course, you wouldn't remember clearly, but tomorrow is the 10th day. Seelan felt a lurch in her stomach. I'm doomed. What situation have I gotten myself into? My fathers and my Ovenhans. This is crazy. I know the monstrous Grand Duke, but these are all blatant lies. I can't say I know it's not true. What do I do? What do I do? I thought I'd passed a turning point, but this is an even bigger one. Barris, equally lost in thought, mused, possessing the body of a married woman and not even considering it. What a careless, which in many ways. Is she that shocked? But I absolutely won't let her off the hook. She doesn't understand a thing, yet she brings up intimacy. What a pretty, cunning little witch. I'll devour her whole, leaving nothing behind. Tomorrow night, then. Good. That's settled. Let's drink and relax. Even though it's the worst possible solution, I can't think of anything else. I have no other choice but to delay things like this until I come up with a better plan. But where do I get alcohol? I don't know where the kitchen or the wine cellar is. There's no other way. I have to go to the market quickly, buy some alcohol, and come back. I'm not running away, and I'll be back, so it should be fine. Hopefully, we'll understand each other better someday. The scene shifts to Barris, who is holding something in his hand. Finally, I have what I've been wanting. It's practically impossible to find on the black market, a soul-binding anklet. It binds the soul to the body. It's a dragon artifact that holds the soul and heals the body's wounds. Because of the side effects, only lunatics use them now. Deadly side effects. That's what happens if she dies before me, the owner of the anklet. She absolutely won't die before me, so it'll be fine. Why isn't there any sound? Maybe she's just asleep. That's why there's no response. Barris knocked for a while, but there was still no answer. Just then, Anna arrived, and they quickly realized something was amiss. A wave of killing intent radiated from Barris, instantly locking down the north side. The scene shifts to Seelan. She accidentally bumped into someone. Flustered, she stammered, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry. That platinum blonde hair looks familiar." He smiled and said, "My apologies, I mistook you for someone else." Then he turned and walked away. Seelan was bewildered. That was strange. At that moment, soldiers were running everywhere, searching. Seeing this, the townspeople quickly shut their doors. Barris fumed. Search everywhere. I'll search like this until dawn. In the morning, I'll have to re-establish the search grid. No, but did she run away because she didn't want to sleep with me? If she didn't want to, she could have at least told me to wait a little longer. I've already waited 10 days, and I can't wait any longer. If I catch her, I won't let her off easily. Suddenly, Barris caught sight of Seelan. He immediately rushed towards her and grabbed her hand. As they walked, he anxiously thought, please, please, let her soul still be in her body. Seelan opened her eyes, bewildered. Oh my, what's going on? Why doesn't your face look so good? Seeing her raise her hand, Barris buried his face in it. Internal monologue, ending with the sound of wind, chimes. If I find her, I'll grab her and throw her in the room. I'm carefully considering it. Zat, from behind, wave his hands. Everyone, disperse, disperse. He glanced over, thinking to himself, the Lord has caught the Grand Duchess. Hopefully, he can suppress his urges. Although things are going as I planned, why does it have to be a sorceress? Barris asked, what are you doing here? Seelan blushed. I thought I'd need a little alcohol tonight, so I went out to buy some. Barris was taken aback. Alcohol? Just for alcohol? You made my heart burn like fire. Not to mention, because of alcohol, I stayed up all night in the forest that day. Barris pouted. Seems like you didn't have enough to drink last night. Seelan panicked. I drank alcohol. Barris continued. Even so, it wasn't excessive, so don't worry too much. Seelan looked downcast. I am sorry. Barris comforted her. It's all right. She covered her face, embarrassed. She'd always held her liquor well and never had any bad habits when drunk. But her body had changed. She couldn't handle alcohol anymore and couldn't predict what she might do. More importantly, what was she going to do now? The alcohol's effects were kicking in, and her plan to delay sharing a bed with Barris was failing. They stared at each other for a moment, then Barris suddenly sat down. Give me your foot, he said. Seelan was surprised. My foot. Surely he wasn't asking her to put her foot on his lap. My foot, she asked. Yes, Barris replied. Seelan pouted, blushing crimson. There was no other way. Close your eyes, she muttered to herself. She extended her foot, and Barris took it in his hand. He fastened an anklet around her ankle. Now I can rest easy. Even if you run away, I can find you. And even if you beg and cry, I won't take it off. Your foot is even smaller than my hand. Seelan asked, is this an anklet? Thank you. I'll treasure it. She smiled brightly, thinking to herself, it's beautiful. The sound is so clear and delicate. First the shoes, now an anklet. Maybe next he'll give me a pair of enchanted slippers. Barris stood up. Let's go back, he said. Seelan, still smiling, replied, yes. Are my drunken habits really that bad? She asked. Barris turned his face away. That's the first time I've ever seen drunken habits like that. Don't drink when I'm not around. Seelan asked, can I drink when you are around? Barris crossed his arms and gave a small smile. When I'm around, it's fine. Seelan's eyes crinkled in a smile. Then, would you like a drink with me today? Barris was momentarily speechless. So, nothing happened last night after all. The moment we got back, I threw myself into my bedroom. He had a guard stationed outside my door all night. It was like that until morning. It's funny to think about it now. I made such a fuss to avoid sleeping with him at all costs. Why didn't he touch me? How could he just walk away without any regret? Am I not attractive? No, that's not it. Objectively speaking, the heroine is very beautiful. I look a little thin, maybe a bit lacking in vitality. I don't think it suits someone with a strong and tough exterior. I should be more lively and cute. A charming woman. Should I try it? Maybe if I show some charm. A kiss. Would that be possible? Meanwhile, Barris had finally finished dealing with the backlog of documents. Why is that still clinging around until lunchtime? It seems his nerve has grown lately. I wonder what Seelan is doing now. It seems like it's almost lunchtime. If I'm lucky, I might even hear her laugh occasionally. That wouldn't be so bad, would it? As for Seelan, she had just finished lunch. Anna asked, did you enjoy your meal? Seelan replied, yes, it was delicious. Anna continued, there's someone I wanted to introduce to you, so I brought her here. The sweet-faced girl behind Anna stepped forward. I am Methy Leogas, from the Viscount Ogus family, who have served the Grand Duke's family for generations. It's an honor to meet you. Anna added, she's a bright and perceptive young woman. I brought her here because I thought it would be wonderful if she served as your handmaiden. Meaty's eyes sparkled. Originally, I was chosen to be your handmaiden, but a few months ago, I suddenly fell gravely ill, near death. Thankfully, I met a skilled physician and overcame the crisis. However, due to the necessary recuperation period, I couldn't enter the castle on time. I truly wish to meet you, so I wondered if you might still consider me for the handmaiden position. I'm very glad to have met you. Seelan paled. So that's what happened. She racked her brain. Wait a minute, now that I think about it, that I did imagine a charming young woman. Anna observed her, thinking to herself. Although her expression isn't the best, thankfully she accepted and didn't say anything. The Grand Duchess hasn't requested a single thing since arriving at this castle. She's never expressed dissatisfaction with the simple meals or the unostentatious clothing. She hasn't asked for anything from the old castle to be replaced. At most, she's only wanted to go outside a little. She's only used a tiny fraction of the funds so far. She doesn't hide her true feelings or have any ulterior motives. It's hard to be so innocent and pure. The Empress will likely visit by tomorrow at the latest. The Lord, thinking they were married quietly, only sent a letter to the Emperor. The Empress holds the Emperor in the palm of her hand, so there's no way she wouldn't know. The Empress, the most noble woman in the Empire, has lived a life without needing to hide her feelings. But a woman born an illegitimate child quickly became a noble and the wife of her only younger brother. Though the most precious person in the world, he's not one for consideration or sweet words. Though he wouldn't bully or dismiss her if displeased. Whatever she hears, I hope that innocent woman won't be hurt. I'm so worried. Methy poured a cup of tea for Seelan and asked, Grand Duchess, is this to your liking? Seelan replied, yes. She found Methy to be bright and charming, so dazzling. She really suits Barris. Just as she thought of Barris, he entered. He then sat down, his mere presence causing Methy to tremble. Seelan, watching her, thought, she's trembling. I understand. If such a handsome man were in front of me, of course I'd tremble too. I'm the same. I feel like such a fool. Just because I'm acting charming doesn't mean my true nature has changed. Then, Barris gestured for Methy to leave. Methy quickly fled. Even after leaving the room, she remained anxious. Truly, truly terrifying. I almost cried. I was so nervous my hand was shaking. I was afraid of being punished for making a mistake, which made me shake even more. On the other hand, the Grand Duchess is truly amazing. She's completely calm in front of the Grand Duke. Grand Duchess, I'll do my best. I'll become a wonderful handmaiden, befitting of you. But in reality, Seelan was currently feeling quite melancholic. Barris, arms crossed. Observe her expression, thinking to himself. Her expressions shift so quickly, even in such a short span of time. She truly is impulsive and endearing. Barris spoke up. How about we have dinner together? Seelan's face brightened. Yes, please. Her eagerness was like an arrow straight to Barris's heart. He smiled to himself, thinking a stroll and some champagne afterwards. I doubt she'd refuse. Meanwhile, Seelan was trying to reassure herself. Calm down. The reason I was jealous of Methy. In the end, I just want to capture Barris's attention completely, right? We're married. We even spent a night away together. I've done everything I can. Now I want to spend more time with him. Be decisive. She stood up abruptly. Could you take me for a walk outside the castle? A silence followed, stretching the moment into what felt like an eternity for Seelan. Barris smiled. Certainly. Let's go. His words sent a flutter of happiness through her. A short while later, they were walking side by side. Barris mused, this castle is so gloomy. Perhaps it doesn't suit her. Seelan gestured to a building. What is that building? It's sometimes used for guests or parties, Barris replied, but it's empty at the moment. I see, Seelan murmured, subtly tugging him towards the building. Barris noticed. She's trying to pull me towards it. What strength could a woman as light as a rabbit possibly have? But even that tiny bit of force is enough to sway me. Not bad. Seelan clenched her hand, thinking that building is empty. With the atmosphere and a bit of luck, could I maybe steal a kiss? Is that thinking too far ahead? Hee hee. Well, let's just go. Unbeknownst to her, something was following close behind. Soon they were inside. It's certainly quiet, Seelan remarked. Don't you hear anything? Barris looked up. That sounds like Nephi. What's that? Seelan asked, a touch of fear in her voice. A ghost that lives on the 4th floor of this building, Barris answered casually. Seelan was aghast. Why are you only telling me that now? Telling you what? Barris asked, seemingly oblivious to her alarm. About the ghost. I don't really care, he shrugged. I didn't know there were people who were actually afraid of ghosts. Looking up, Seelan saw a faint, ghostly figure and cried out. She tugged at Barris's arm. Let's get out of here. Hurry, hurry. Come to think of it, this is a world where dragons and magic are real. Of course they're ghosts. I used to be terrified of ghosts. I convinced myself they weren't real. I thought it would be the same here. But isn't he being a bit insensitive? I told him I was scared, and he doesn't even seem to care. It's a little upsetting. Back outside, Barris noticed a carriage approaching the castle. Who's patrolling outside at this hour? My subordinates are unnecessarily diligent. As he finished the thought, the carriage stopped. A strikingly beautiful and elegant woman stepped out. It's been a while, little brother. It has been a while, sister, Barris replied. The beautiful woman continued. I heard you got married. Barris immediately stepped forward protectively. Don't mind her. She was silent for a moment, then offered a cryptic smile. This woman was Barris's sister, Sania Bellias, and also the empress of the empire. A moment later, she entered the castle. Barris approached her, bristling. Why are you here? Sania replied. Do I need a reason to visit my parents' home? Barris pressed her. I think it's too far a distance to travel without a reason. Sania laughed. I heard something on the way here. Are you looking for a witch? Barris frowned. That's absurd. Sania said, I could help you. Barris responded coldly. There's no need. Sania asked, how's married life treating you? Barris leaned against a wall. Don't worry about it. Sania crossed her arms. Now that we're family, shouldn't we get acquainted? Barris retorted, just pretend she doesn't exist and live as you always have. Sania replied, what if we run into each other later and have a falling out? We should know each other's faces to avoid such arguments. Barris scowled. Don't entertain such ridiculous thoughts, unless you want to turn the imperial palace into an inferno. The two glared at each other like rivals. Sania sighed and said, even off the battlefield, you seem to be thriving. Barris then stormed off, muttering to himself, all witches are the same. Arrogant, insidious, ready to do anything. The imperial palace and demons at their beck and call. How troublesome. Come to think of it, are there any witches who fear ghosts? They usually treat demons like close acquaintances. The possibility that Seelan's true identity is a witch has increased. It's rare for a witch to fear ghosts. And usually, when a witch takes over a body, the original soul is eliminated or imprisoned. There's no reason for a naive and weak witch to handle things so cruelly. I have to get to the bottom of this. The original owner of the body might not be able to return. The next day, Seelan woke up and stretched. I slept so well. I wonder if Barris is awake yet. How about we have breakfast together? She startled when she saw Barris standing outside her window. Flustered, she quickly pulled the covers back over herself. What do I do? Did he see everything? My face is still puffy from sleep, and I yawn so widely. Just imagining it is mortifying. This is so embarrassing. Barris approached, flustered himself. Opuludisa? I didn't mean to startle you. Seelan peeked her head out from the covers. What is it so early in the morning? Honestly, there's a dangerous witch in Belias right now. Can I tell her that the witch is targeting her? She's like a fragile rabbit, frightened by even the mere mention of demons. If she knew the truth, she might faint. My sister is different from other witches. If it were this woman, she'd be devoured in a single bite without even realizing it. I've contacted the Empire to have the witch removed. We just need to be careful until then. Until then, is there any excuse to stay close to her? Seelan emerged from the covers, stammering, I'm sorry, I was a little surprised. Barris crossed his arms and began to fabricate a story. I didn't want to frighten you, but perhaps you should know. Nephi has vanished since we visited yesterday. Perhaps she's taken a liking to you. Seelan gasped, vanished. Taken a liking to me. Barris sat down and continued his fabricated tale. There was a servant looking after Nephi, but I hear she disappeared early this morning. Sometimes it targets women who are alone and takes over their bodies. Seelan, listening to the story, pulled the covers tightly around herself. Barris asked, what are you doing? Seelan replied, nothing. So, I shouldn't be alone, right? Barris said, right? There's something over there. This playful remark made Seelan jump. What? What is it? He smiled, satisfied. If this goes well, we can be inseparable every day. As Barris reached out towards Seelan, someone approached from outside. Methyli here. I'll help you get dressed. Seelan stood up. Thank you, Methyli. Barris frowned. The atmosphere was so pleasant. She has no sense of timing. How could she be allowed to serve as a maid? Why is Seelan so cheerful? If she weren't Zat's younger sister, I'd have replaced her immediately. Methyli, seeing his expression, also darkened and recalled her brother's words. Survival tip, listen carefully, little sister. If the Lord's mood seems off, stay close to the Duchess. That's the only way to guarantee your safety. Methyli had replied, I'll keep that in mind, brother. Back in the present, Seelan, noticing Methyli's unease, asked, what's wrong, Methyli? Methyli huddled closer to Seelan and said, I want to have breakfast with you. Barris's gaze was like a bullet, fixed intently on them. Seelan turned to him and asked, you'll wait, won't you? Barris immediately did a 180. Of course, after they stepped outside, Methyli was still worried. Brother was absolutely right. The position next to the Duchess is a safe haven. I must protect it with my life. The scene shifted to Barris and Seelan. Gazing at the flowers, she thought to herself, it's definitely warmer than the first time I came here. Spring has arrived. Barris leaned down and asked, is something there? Why are you smiling? Seelan replied, there's a white butterfly over there. I think it looks like me. It has to find flowers to get nectar, but there are no flowers here, no home, no one to care for it. The wind blows and it staggers, but it's still resilient and brave. That's what I thought as I watched it fly around looking for flowers. Hearing this, Barris began to overthink. She speaks as if she's certain to leave here someday. Does she mean that being with me is just a temporary stop? Barris stepped closer and said, I can provide those things. A home to protect you and someone to care for you. I can do that. They looked at each other, each harboring their own anxieties. He thought, therefore, even in your dreams, don't ever think of leaving me and fluttering away like a butterfly. Whether it's flowers or nectar, just tell me what you need. I'll walk any thorny path for you. Seelan, seeing his expression, worried. Is he angry? Did what I say sound like a plea for protection? Is that why he's gritting his teeth like that? Even though it's taken time, we have a good relationship. No, even if we didn't, I'd still want to be your companion. Her eyes sparkling, Seelan said, let's go out together. Though tempted, Barris gritted his teeth, lost in thought. He wanted to go, but he was certain his sister was waiting for an opportunity outside. His slightly unhinged sister wouldn't come here without a reason. He desperately wanted to confine Seelan to her room, preventing any encounter between the two. Seelan, her gaze lowered, wondered why he hadn't answered. Could it be that Barris didn't want to go with her? It would be so wonderful to go out together, to savor delicious food, and enjoy each other's company. But why the silence? If only he would answer quickly. Just say you'll come with me, she pleaded internally. Come with me. Barris, it seemed, could almost read her thoughts. Left with no other choice, he extended his hand and asked, is there anywhere you'd like to go? Seelan's face instantly brightened. The market, she exclaimed. Let's go to the market and eat all the snacks. Seeing her expression, Barris fell into contemplation. Even after she learns all the rumors and the truth about me, will she still smile so brightly and hold my hand like this? Taking Seelan's hand, Barris said, there's something I need to tell you. The woman you met yesterday, she's my sister. Seelan's eyes widened in surprise. What? You have a sister? She thought to herself, there was no mention of that in the principles. And why didn't he introduce us yesterday? I become the person who disrespected her sister-in-law. My first impression is already terrible. Barris spoke again. Your memories, they haven't returned yet. Seelan forced a lie. Not yet. They had barely taken a few steps when someone called out. Look, just now coming out are we. Seelan seized the opportunity to improve her initial impression. Hello, she chirped. Barris stepped forward, shielding her slightly. The two siblings locked eyes, the air thick with animosity. Peeking out from behind Barris, Seelan continued. Hello, I'm Seelan Bellias, the one who married Grand Duke Barris Bellias. I just heard you were here. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I hope we can have a good relationship from now on. Sania offered a thin smile. Isn't that nice, Barris, wanting a good relationship? You make me feel like an uninvited guest. It's a pleasure to meet you as well, Seelan. How about we have dinner together tonight? Barris's eyes hardened. Impossible. Seelan quickly added, I apologize, but I have a prior engagement with him today. Perhaps tomorrow. Barris stared at her, astonished. Sania watched them both, a thought forming in her mind. Despite his outward disapproval, he can't seem to refuse his wife. She's certainly found his weakness. Sania smiled. An excellent suggestion. The Bellias castle was built to prevent monsters from the 10,000-year snow mountain in the north from descending. When a frequency of monster incursions from the snow mountain decreased, people began to gather near the castle. The Grand Duke allowed them to establish a village and provided assistance when needed. When rumors spread that the ruler of Bellias cared for his people, those struggling to make a living from all corners of the empire flocked here. To support the exponentially growing population, mining operations were developed. The north is rich in magic ore, formed from dragon remains over vast periods. Mining proceeded without hindrance. Through the mining, processing, and distribution of these minerals, along with byproducts like monster hides, the Bellias family rapidly amassed wealth. And 200 years later, Sania Bellias, at the precarious age of 27, made her debut at the imperial palace. A sorceress from the north, she captivated the entire court in the blink of an eye. Less than a year after her appearance at the imperial palace, Bellias became a duchy. With the limitations on tributes and military strength lifted, Bellias ascended to a position of immense power, insurmountable by any. I don't quite understand it, but it's truly remarkable. Both sisters exerted themselves both within and outside the empire, didn't they? They elevated the empire's standing to new heights. Although that conversation earlier was a bit cold, there wasn't any real animosity. That must be family. Just then, someone approached. Grand Duchess, a voice called. Are you taking a stroll? It was Methyli. Seelan asked, who is that beside you? Methyli replied, do you remember what I told you the other day? This is the doctor who saved me from death's door. The doctor bowed, saying, it's an honor to meet you, Grand Duchess. I hope you will look after me, he added. Seelan replied, certainly. She looked at him, a flicker of familiarity in her eyes, but she couldn't quite place him. Is there something you wanted to say? The doctor inquired. Seelan smiled brightly. No, not at all. I think I mistook you for someone else. Methyli approached and asked, Grand Duchess, what is next on the schedule? After hearing the response, Methyli's eyes widened slightly. So, just you and the Grand Duke are going to the market. Seelan smiled. That's right. Quickly, Seelan and Barris departed, hand in hand. Let's buy some snacks and go to the fountain, Seelan suggested. Watching her, Barris thought to himself, I should have known this would happen. These moments, walking alongside her like this, are perhaps the happiest I've known. But wherever Barris went, a palpable tension followed. I knew it would be like this. I've experienced this kind of thing for so long. It's only natural. For Seelan, this hostile atmosphere must be unsettling. I was so caught up in my own excitement that I put her through this. But Seelan, ever cheerful, asked Snacks, what do you like? Do you like apples? Barris, silently observing the tense atmosphere around them, replied, I do. Seelan tugged him along. Then let's go buy some apples first. As they walked, Seelan thought, what is this? It's so depressing. It's not that I'm angry, but this is just lonely. Everyone back there was looking at Barris with such fear. In their moment of need, they fear the very person who would protect them. It's incredibly lonely. A while later, they sat down to eat. Seelan took the apple from Barris's hand. Wait a moment. She carefully wiped the apple clean. What are you doing? Barris asked. I'm wiping the apple, Seelan replied. Barris watched her, a smile gracing his lips. Seeing him smile, Seelan's own face brightened. It'll taste better this way. It's always better when it's clean. Barris looked up at the sky. This must be happiness. Then, they both took a bite of their apples. Seelan looked at him, thinking, I wonder if it's okay. Yes, it has to be now. It can only be now. Then, she winked at Barris, causing him to spray apple out of his mouth in surprise. "Are you alright?" Seelan asked, patting his back. "I'll get you some water." Barris's face darkened. What did I just see? He thought. If it wasn't my imagination, that was clearly a wink, wasn't it? Isn't winking a sign of affection? I've seen my subordinates do it to the women they like, and they all failed. She just did that to me. I need to confirm whether that was real or just my imagination. "What did you just do?" Barris asked. "Oh, good heavens. Look at everyone staring." Seelan flustered, stammered, "Ow, my stomach hurts." She paused, thinking, wait, if I say I'm in pain, will Barris worry? She continued, no, it's not that. The apple was so delicious, it made me think my stomach hurt for a second. Inwardly, she panicked. I'm going crazy. Why did I do that? I can't tell him the truth. Judging by his reaction, he doesn't seem to like it very much. Barris was disappointed. I'm such an idiot. I can't even grasp the situation. What more can I expect? I can't even speak properly. Silence hung heavy between them. Still, she's very cute, Barris thought. He's still so cool, Seelan thought. A while later, she returned to her room. Barris is an idiot. Even if I made a face, how could he understand right away? He just wanted to turn away and pretend he didn't see my wink. Better to be a real fool than to not be able to tell the difference. If he pretends not to see, my charm isn't worth much. This is so frustrating. Seelan, now bathing, suddenly remembered Barris's words. Sometimes they target women who are alone and take their bodies. She bolted upright in alarm. Due to the need to reduce the number of people coming and going, there are currently a total of 5 people who can freely enter and exit. Some maids only stop by to work and return early in the morning under Anna's direction. Anna will go out to prepare dinner. Methley is already off work, and Zad isn't around here. I'm alone right now. Suddenly, the door opened. Seelan was terrified. Barris warned me not to be alone. I forgot. Idiot. Barris, please be in your room. She opened the door and saw Barris. Her eyes welled up and she burst into tears. She then climbed onto Barris's bed and sat there. Why am I doing this? Seelan got off the bed and sat next to him. Wait, now that I look again. Barris, looking Seelan up and down, blushed. What is this? He reconsidered. It seems like her clothes don't quite fit. There aren't any clothes under that robe. What is she wearing under that robe? If I ask crazy questions like that, I don't want to hear the answer. What are you doing? Barris asked. I was taking a bath, Seelan replied. Barris was confused. A bath? Why did she rush out dressed like that? I also want to ask why she was crying and many other things. I don't want to ask those questions because I think she'll leave. She must be tired after crying so much. Are you cold? Barris asked. Because you're still wearing your robe. Seelan blushed. Come to think of it, I'm not wearing anything under this robe. I completely forgot. This is crazy. I wonder if Barris noticed. What if he thinks I'm some kind of pervert? This is so bad. Somebody notice. Barris walked over to the fireplace. Seelan breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness. It seems like he didn't notice. Barris mused to himself. What conclusion did she come to that made her smile so brightly? Seeing her cry makes my chest ache. If she smiles like that, I want to make her cry and cling to me. Of course, I don't have any twisted desires. Both thought simultaneously, I absolutely cannot let them find out. The next morning, birds chirped melodiously. Zat knocked on the door. Lord Barris. No answer again. That sorceress they mentioned the other day. What the? Blonde hair. Zat nearly fainted at the sight. Barris opened the door. What is it? Zat replied. It seems there was a sorceress in the north some time ago. It won't be easy, as sorcerers believe they'll face significant trouble if their identities are revealed. We're currently searching for her. Barris took the papers and pondered. Linen cloth. Among sorcerers, those who dream of immortality are rare. Discarding a decaying body and transferring to one brimming with life. Better than nothing. If a body is the goal, at least they won't try to return. Barris ordered, find her. Even if it's difficult, it must be done. Whether her body is failing or hidden, we must find a weakness. If only I could bind her to my side. I become as cowardly as necessary. No matter her past or her purpose, if she intends to leave me, I need to grasp her weakness and control her. Zat replied, yes, sir. He thought to himself, this is pure madness. The full moon is approaching. Will we be all right? Should we bring the Empress into the inner city beforehand? We need to gather strong individuals to form a protective barrier. If Anna and I hold the line, things should be fine. I can't even imagine what might happen. I'm not confident I can guarantee everyone's safety. Even so, we must evacuate the city. Just thinking about it terrifies me. Perhaps the Empress can restrain the Lord. That's why I hope they can stay as close as possible. First, I must meet with her, kneel, and pray. After their conversation, Barris returned inside. She's still fast asleep, thankfully. Just as I thought, completely naked. This woman has no fear of others. How can she sleep so unguarded? Honestly, what if she catches a cold? Alright, a cold bath should wake me up. Seelan's eyes snapped open. A bath. Just like that. Actually, because of the ghost, I've become more sensitive. When the door opened, I woke up but just stayed still. Earlier, when Barris was staring at me, we haven't even kissed yet. Don't tell me he's skipping steps. I almost screamed. Good thing he didn't do anything. I almost witnessed the creation of the century's darkest moment. It's a relief I kept pretending to sleep. But now, I'm not angry because he touched me. I'm angry because he didn't touch me. Seelan then crawled toward the bathroom door. Not because a ghost might appear. If Nephi shows up, quickly pull the doorknob. Inside, Barris showered and pondered. Honestly, if I had his power, I could sense a presence outside too. Now, it seems, is she trying to take my life? This is torture. She trembles so much, but her voice is like that. So cute. If I open the door and go out now, I'll see Seelan, won't I? Meeting in the morning in our bathing attire. Just like a married couple. At that moment, Barris stepped out of the bathroom. Seelan's eyes widened, feigning surprise. Barris was also startled. She was crouching, so she looked as small as a bean. A moment later, I absolutely can't live like this. If I'm scared during the day, I can just go outside because there are a lot of people out there. But in the evening, Anna, seeing her looking dejected, asked, "Are you worried about something?" Seelan replied, "Actually, I'm a little afraid of ghosts. Very afraid. Extremely afraid. I heard the story about Nephi. I think if I'm alone, that ghost might target me. I'm so worried." Anna said, Nephi is a bound ghost. She knows etiquette, respects life, and is a loyal servant of the Grand Duke's family. So, madam, there's no reason to be afraid. And ghosts strictly guard their territory, both inside and out. The entire Belias estate is Nephi's territory. Unless she allows it, no other ghost can enter. So you don't need to be afraid. Seelan pondered. Come to think of it, Barris said he didn't know there were people in the world who were afraid of ghosts. If there are ghosts here, I wonder if the ghosts I've known are different. Anna continued. Nephi is a very considerate and somewhat timid ghost. If she knew you were afraid, she wouldn't come near. Seelan breathed a sigh of relief. What? Like mammals and birds, there are ghosts here. Living creatures. Obedient. I'm less scared now. But then, how funny is that? Barris knows everything, but pretends he doesn't. That's deep. I have to ask him right away. Oh, it's already time. No, there's no time. I want to look beautiful for today's meal with Barris's sister. She said, help me get ready, Anna. By this time, Barris's sister had arrived. Seelan approached with a smile. Hello. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Sania stood up and said, no, it's all right. Seelan thought to herself, she smiles just like Barris. Aloud, she said, it's fortunate that we can see the stars so clearly. The moon is beautiful, and the breeze is cool too. Barris's face remained impassive. Seelan nudged him with her elbow, still not having forgiven him for the ghost prank. Now I understand. This man wouldn't harm me with something like that. As they walked away, Seelan said, I saw a butterfly a little while ago. The north must be cool in the summer, right? I'm looking forward to it. Sania looked at Seelan, thinking strange. The ladies I met in the capital at first also said this and that, but most of them were dispirited and didn't say much. Sometimes there were those who were genuinely enthusiastic, the truly boisterous types. But it wasn't that feeling, that foolish, naive, and carefree air. That idiot also trailed after his wife like a loyal dog. Sania smiled and said, yes, I'm looking forward to this summer too. Seelan also moved closer to Sania, replying, yes, me too. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this, please ring the bell to be notified when the newest episode is released. Let me know your thoughts on the story above, and don't forget to recommend other captivating stories to me. Thank you for watching.